After more than 3 decades working with cardiac rehabilitation patients, stroke recovery programs, and older adults struggling with circulation problems, I've learned something that many seniors never hear until blood pressure has already started damaging the body quietly from the inside. High blood pressure rarely announces itself dramatically in the beginning. Most people feel completely normal. No pain, no warning, no obvious symptoms. And that is exactly why doctors often call it the silent killer. I've seen patients walk into clinic saying they felt perfectly fine, only to discover their blood pressure had been dangerously elevated for years. By the time symptoms finally appeared, the body had already started paying the price. The heart was overworking, blood vessels were stiffening, kidney function was declining. Tiny delicate arteries in the brain and eyes were becoming damaged under constant pressure. And perhaps most concerning of all, many older adults believed they were eating healthy while unknowingly consuming foods and habits that kept their blood pressure elevated every single day. Now let me say something important immediately. Medication absolutely has its place. Many people genuinely need it, and nobody should ever stop prescribed treatment without speaking to their doctor first. But what surprised even many specialists over the years was how dramatically food choices could influence blood pressure regulation after 60. Because the body responds to what you eat far faster than most people realize. Within hours, certain foods can improve blood vessel relaxation, reduce fluid retention, stabilize circulation, and lower stress on the cardiovascular system. Other foods quietly do the opposite, increasing inflammation, tightening blood vessels, and forcing the heart to pump harder with every beat. And what researchers discovered in long-term aging studies changed how many doctors approach blood pressure management entirely. A landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that dietary changes alone produced meaningful blood pressure reductions in older adults, even without extreme exercise programs or major weight loss. In some cases, the improvements rivaled the effects of first-line blood pressure medications. That is incredibly important after 60, because high blood pressure does not just affect the heart. It affects balance, energy levels, memory, kidney function, walking endurance, stroke risk, even cognitive decline. Today, we are going to reveal 5 simple food-based strategies that many cardiologists and senior health specialists recommend to help naturally support healthier blood pressure after 60. And stay with me because number 1 is the habit that quietly improves circulation all day long and may be one of the most powerful dietary changes older adults can make for long-term heart and brain protection. Before we begin, let me ask you something. How old are you today, and what country are you watching from? I always enjoy hearing how different cultures approach food, health, and longevity around the world. Now let us begin with number 5. The small morning habit that helps your blood vessels relax before the day even begins. Number 5. Start the day with potassium-rich foods instead of salty processed breakfasts. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see repeatedly in older adults trying to manage blood pressure. Many breakfasts commonly marketed as quick and easy are loaded with sodium and processed carbohydrates. Toasted frozen meals, packaged breakfast sandwiches, processed meats like bacon and sausage, instant soups, salted crackers. Even many breakfast cereals contain surprisingly high sodium levels, and here is the problem. As we age, the kidneys become less efficient at removing excess sodium from the bloodstream. That sodium causes the body to retain fluid. More fluid means greater pressure inside blood vessels. And over time, that extra pressure forces the heart to work much harder than it should. Researchers at Harvard Medical School observed that adults over 60 often show increased salt sensitivity, meaning their blood pressure responds more dramatically to sodium intake compared to younger adults. But this is where potassium becomes incredibly important. Potassium helps balance sodium levels inside the body and supports relaxation of blood vessel walls. In simple terms, it helps the cardiovascular system stay more flexible and less pressurized. That is why many heart specialists encourage potassium-rich breakfasts. Foods like bananas, plain yogurt, oatmeal with berries, avocados, unsalted nuts, spinach omelets. These foods support circulation instead of stressing it. One particularly effective combination is oatmeal topped with banana slices and a handful of unsalted walnuts. Oats contain soluble fiber that supports vascular health, while bananas provide potassium that helps counter sodium retention. And here is something many people overlook. Hydration matters too. Mild dehydration can actually increase blood pressure by forcing blood vessels to constrict. Starting the morning with water before coffee can make a surprisingly meaningful difference for circulation. And what comes next may shock many people because this food was once unfairly blamed for years. Number 4. Eat more healthy fats instead of fearing all fat. For decades, many older adults were taught to avoid fat almost entirely. But modern cardiovascular research revealed something extremely important. Not all fats affect the body the same way. In fact, certain healthy fats may actively improve blood vessel function and reduce inflammation linked to high blood pressure. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that diets rich in healthy unsaturated fats were associated with better vascular flexibility and lower cardiovascular risk in older adults. Why does that matter? Because stiff blood vessels are one of the biggest drivers of hypertension after 60. As arteries lose elasticity with age, pressure inside them naturally rises. But certain foods appear to help preserve healthier vessel function. Some of the best examples include olive oil, fatty fish like salmon and sardines, avocados, nuts, seeds. These foods contain compounds that support endothelial function, which refers to how well blood vessels expand and relax. And one food stands out repeatedly in cardiovascular research: extra virgin olive oil. Researchers studying Mediterranean populations discovered significantly lower cardiovascular disease rates among older adults consuming olive oil regularly as part of a whole food diet. One simple habit many cardiologists recommend is replacing butter or processed spreads with small amounts of olive oil during meals. Not excessive amounts, just consistent, healthier choices. And the next strategy may be one of the most underestimated dietary changes of all because it directly affects blood vessel inflammation. Number 3. Increase natural nitrate-rich vegetables. Now this sounds complicated at first, but the science behind it is fascinating. Certain vegetables naturally contain compounds called nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is extremely important because it helps blood vessels relax and widen, improving circulation and lowering vascular resistance. In simple terms, it helps blood move more easily through the body. Researchers at the University of Exeter found that older adults consuming nitrate-rich vegetables experienced measurable improvements in vascular function and blood pressure regulation. Some of the most effective foods include beets, spinach, arugula, celery, lettuce. Beetroot in particular has attracted enormous attention in cardiovascular research. One study published in Hypertension showed that dietary nitrate supplementation from beetroot significantly improved blood vessel dilation and reduced systolic blood pressure in older adults. And no, you do not need expensive supplements. Simple foods work remarkably well. A small side salad with leafy greens, roasted beets, spinach added to soup, fresh celery with hummus. Small additions repeated consistently matter far more than dramatic short-term diets. One important detail many people miss is preparation. Highly processed canned vegetables often contain large amounts of sodium, which can counteract some cardiovascular benefits. Fresh or lightly prepared vegetables tend to be much more effective for blood pressure support. And now we arrive at number 2, the food habit strongly linked to lower inflammation and better heart protection after 60. Number 2, eat more fiber-rich whole foods and fewer ultra-processed foods. This is where modern diets have quietly created enormous cardiovascular problems. Many processed foods are engineered to be extremely convenient and highly addictive, but they often contain combinations of sodium, refined sugar, unhealthy fats, and preservatives that place constant stress on the cardiovascular system. The body was never designed to process these foods continuously. A major study published in The Lancet found that diets high in ultra-processed foods were associated with significantly increased cardiovascular risk and elevated blood pressure in aging populations. And the problem goes beyond sodium alone. Ultra-processed foods also increase inflammation, insulin resistance, and weight gain, all of which contribute to hypertension. This is why whole foods matter so much. Foods rich in natural fiber help stabilize blood sugar, improve cholesterol balance, support gut health, and reduce cardiovascular stress simultaneously. Excellent examples include beans, lentils, vegetables, whole oats, berries, apples, brown rice. One especially powerful food group is legumes. Beans and lentils contain potassium, magnesium, and soluble fiber, a combination strongly associated with improved heart health. And perhaps most importantly, whole foods help people feel fuller longer, reducing overeating that can worsen blood pressure over time. One simple strategy I often recommend is this. Instead of trying to completely overhaul your entire diet overnight, replace just one processed meal each day with a whole food alternative. Consistency creates results. And now we arrive at number 1, the daily food strategy many doctors believe has the greatest long-term impact on blood pressure and healthy aging. Number 1, follow a Mediterranean-style eating pattern. There is a reason cardiologists talk about this approach constantly, because the evidence supporting it is overwhelming. The Mediterranean-style diet is not a strict diet in the modern sense. It is a long-term eating pattern focused on vegetables, fruits, olive oil, fish, beans, whole grains, nuts, moderate portions, and minimal processed food. What makes this approach so powerful is that it targets multiple blood pressure mechanisms simultaneously. It reduces inflammation, supports healthier blood vessels, improves cholesterol balance, stabilizes blood sugar, supports healthy body weight, and improves circulation. A large-scale study involving older adults, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, found that Mediterranean-style eating patterns significantly reduced cardiovascular events, including stroke and heart complications. And perhaps most importantly, it is sustainable. That matters tremendously after 60, because extreme diets often fail long-term. But sustainable eating patterns become lifelong protection. One detail many people overlook is that the Mediterranean approach is not based on perfection. It is based on consistency. More vegetables most days, more healthy fats, more natural foods. Less processed food, less excess sodium, less sugary packaged snacks. Small daily habits repeated over years create enormous cardiovascular differences. And here is something I wish more people understood. Lowering blood pressure is not only about living longer, it is about living better. Better energy, better circulation, better brain health, better mobility, better endurance, better independence. Because when blood pressure improves, the entire body functions more efficiently. The heart does not struggle as hard. The brain receives healthier circulation. The kidneys experience less stress. The blood vessels remain healthier longer. And those changes affect quality of life in ways many people underestimate. Now please remember this, no single food magically cures high blood pressure. Real improvement comes from patterns, consistent healthier choices, repeated daily. And the beautiful thing is that the body often responds surprisingly quickly when given the right nutritional support. Many older adults begin noticing improvements in energy, circulation, and even blood pressure readings within weeks of making consistent dietary changes. That is not magic, that is physiology. Your body is constantly responding to what you feed it. So start simple. Drink more water, eat more vegetables, reduce processed foods, choose healthier fats, increase potassium-rich foods, and build meals that support your circulation instead of fighting against it. Small steps matter far more than perfection. Your future heart, brain, and blood vessels will thank you for every healthy choice you make starting today. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information valuable, subscribe to the channel for more evidence-based senior health strategies designed to help you stay strong, independent, and healthy after 60. And remember, the body has an incredible ability to heal and adapt when given the right support consistently over time.